Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen we're making some delicious, comforting chicken lasagna. So let's get started. First off, set your oven to 375, and you're gonna take a large pot, fill it with water, salt it, and bring it to a boil. As soon as your water is boiling, you're gonna add about 9 lasagna noodles in there. We want these to be al dente, so they're not gonna be fully cooked. They'll finish cooking and absorb delicious things when they're in the oven. The recipe needs 9, but I would do a couple more just in case there's a problem. Those noodles are pretty big. We're gonna baby them a bit to make sure they all go in the pot and nothing sticks. There's a tiny bit of prep work to do while those noodles cook, so grab a large onion and we're going to give it a good dice. If you find making food to be a bit of a chore, I understand, but one thing that you could work on is your knife skills. If you can chop things quicker, dinner will come together so fast. Many ways to do this, but if I'm cutting an onion, vertical slices and then change direction and you get a really nice dice. Grab a minimum of 4 garlic cloves. I took the skins off and these are ready to pass through a garlic press. If you don't have one, give them a nice mince and set aside. This chicken lasagna is hearty, silky, delicious, and of course there's a lovely cream sauce to tie everything together. Our prep work's all done, so now we're gonna move to the stove, grab a 1/4 cup of butter and a large skillet, and let's get to work. My lasagna noodles are nice and al dente after about 5 minutes, but it totally depends on the type of pasta, so read the package. I drained these and I'm rinsing them under some cold water just to stop the cooking and so they don't stick together. Set those aside and onto our cream sauce. Pop your large skillet onto medium heat. We're gonna add a 1/4 cup of butter right now. Once your butter's melted, we're gonna add the onion in as well as the minced garlic. And this will cook for about 3 minutes, stirring occasionally until it's nice and softened. I love lasagna. It's one of those comfort classics. It kind of makes a big portion and lasts a while and everybody loves. But chicken lasagna is one of my favorites because it has that lovely creaminess and the chicken just tastes great in there. A lot of times meat lasagnas don't heat up the right way. They're a little bit too acidic or they're kind of flat. This has a nice balance of flavors and I love the creaminess in there. After about 3 minutes, once your onions are softened and your garlic is fragrant, measure out 1/2 cup of flour and we're gonna sprinkle that in and continue to cook for a minute. Let the flour totally coat the onions. You're gonna cook the flour for 3 minutes while stirring constantly and then we can add our liquids in. We're gonna add 2.5 cups of chicken broth right now. Drizzle it in as you mix. And 1.5 cups of milk as well. Mix that up. To season this, I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil, 1.5 teaspoons of salt to get started, and 1/2 teaspoon of cracked black pepper. My sauce has come to a simmer. It's time to whisk, whisk, whisk for about 4 to 5 minutes until it's nice and thick. My sauce is thickened up nicely. Now I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of parm. Just hand it in like that. And keep whisking for about a minute until it is all nice and melty. My parm's all melted in. I'm gonna take this off heat and we're gonna make our ricotta mixture now. This ricotta mixture is so delicious. I love ricotta in anything, dessert or savory. We need 10 ounces of thawed spinach and there's some water in here that's not delicious. So let's pop that onto a paper towel carefully and just drain it into the sink. So much water, much better. You could use a cheesecloth for this or a clean tea towel or paper towels. This reminds me of making spanakopita. You have like a massive mountain of spinach and you end up with like a tiny little bit. All right, let's break this up because it got pretty compressed. To this large bowl of spinach, we're gonna add a 15 ounce or 425 gram container of ricotta cheese, full fat, please. 2 cups or 224 grams of shredded mozzarella, and a 1/4 cup of parm. I'm also adding 2 tablespoons of freshly chopped parsley, and I like to use the flat leaf because it's less waxy and has more flavor. A nice vegetal flavor. 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt to help us balance this out. 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil. You could use fresh basil if you wanted to, by the way. And a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. 1 egg to bind them all. Now you're just gonna mix and mush together with a spatula. This, you can tell, is gonna be delicious. And you could add so many flavors to this if you want. Like, I wouldn't mind a tablespoon of lemon zest. And when you layer things in, you can add the things you love too. So later on, if you wanted to, you could have a layer of sauteed mushrooms or marinated artichoke hearts. It's really anything like delicious is gonna go in this pretty well. By the way, if you like my videos, go ahead and hit that sub button. There's 2 new recipes every single week. My ricotta mixture is all mixed up, so grab a 9 by 13 inch casserole dish and we're gonna start assembling. Grab about 1/2 cup of your white sauce and we're gonna spoon that onto your casserole dish. It's our first layer. This is gonna prevent the noodles from sticking to the bottom of your casserole dish. Very important. I definitely used more than 1/2 cup for the first layer. I just wanted to have like a thin layer at the bottom. Now we're gonna place 3 lasagna noodles onto our white sauce. 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna divide our ricotta mixture in half, roughly, and spread half of it onto our noodles. Using your hands is gonna be pretty easy here, so just have clean hands and use them as your tool. I wouldn't say chicken is the star of this dish, but it is called chicken lasagna. You want 4 cups of shredded chicken. Probably easiest just to grab a rotisserie chicken from the supermarket, strip it, shred the meat up, or you can have like boiled or baked chicken breast and just shred that too. I have a family that only likes white meat. I'm the only one that likes dark, so I did the chicken breast option today. Grab 2 cups or half of your chicken and sprinkle that over the top. Ladle about 1/3 of the cream sauce over the chicken now. The cream sauce is really flavorful, so it's gonna add a lot to the chicken. Honestly, if you use a rotisserie chicken, I think the meat's gonna have more flavor too. Or just like really season your chicken breasts if you're making them. 3 more noodles over the top. 2 and 3. If you ever have an afternoon to yourself and you wanna make something ahead of time, this is a great idea. By the way, the rest of the ricotta is gonna go on now. So plop that on. But this lasts up to 3 months in your freezer. So after baking it, you can have individual portions wrapped and ready or just the whole casserole dish. And if you're making this, it's actually really easy to double the recipe and make 2. 1 to enjoy now and 1 to have later. That's my mom's secret to always being prepared for guests. Spread the ricotta mixture into an even layer once again. An offset spatula makes this really easy. Now sprinkle the rest of the chicken over the top. And I'd point out that this is a very American version of lasagna. It is not a traditional thing you'd find in Italy, but that's okay. It's an homage. Another 1/3 or half of the remaining white sauce now gets drizzled over the chicken. 3 more noodles go on top. And by the way, for this recipe, you shouldn't use the no boil, ready-to-use lasagna pasta. Make it yourself. It's gonna work better. Now we're gonna add the remaining cream sauce over the lasagna noodles. This cream sauce does not look pretty, but it is so delicious. Smooth that into an even layer. The crowning glory on top of our chicken lasagna is 168 grams or 1.5 cups of shredded mozzarella. Just get a nice even layer on top. This will be cheesy, bubbly, and delicious. If you wanted, you could sprinkle a little bit of extra parm on top for some added flavor. We're gonna cover this with foil right now. Our lasagna is ready to go into the oven, 375 for 25 minutes, then remove the foil and bake an additional 20. If you want a golden top, just broil it for about 3 minutes. In you go. Allow it to cool for 15 minutes, give it a slice, and just like that, it's cheesy, delicious, and ready to enjoy. It's creamy, dreamy, hearty, and delicious. I love the play of flavors. It's something you can eat the whole portion of, ask for more, and still feel good about it. I hope you had a chance to make this delicious recipe, and if you like my videos, hit that subscribe button and check out my dinner playlist.